Oh, that's so, isn't it? Well, except the last few lines. That's for the notary. The notary? Over at the bank. Mary Pleasant's a notary. Now get on over there. Nuisance. Much more of this kind of treatment, Barney. I'm warning you, I'm going to do my drinking outside of your jurisdiction. Playing football. Did you hear that, Barney? And did you see that copy of the accident report I left on your desk?
Hey, everyone. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. This is a doubleheader Thursday is what it is. We went live a couple hours ago with the delayed reaction. I know that it was announced on Tuesday, but the delayed reaction of the new Big Ten commissioner being announced 2 days ago. Took all your calls and questions, comments concerning that. So we talked Big Ten football. We can continue to do that, even though the title of the live stream tonight, second half of the doubleheader, the Florida spring game, which I believe kicks off at 7:30 Eastern time. I was just spending some time looking for the destination on the SEC Network Plus on ESPN Plus. Not able to find it yet. Probably will pop up here soon. So welcome into the Voice of College Football. We will talk football with you for the next couple hours. And again, I am going to attempt to dial up the Florida spring game here in about 20 minutes. On a Friday night, we've got the Miami spring game. And that will, of course, be on the Miami channel. May simulcast here on the main channel as well. So bring it on in. Leave your questions and comments there in the live chat. We will get to them. Also, of course, consider supporting right here at the Voice of College Football. You can do that a number of ways. Please hit the like button. Just hit the like button, even if you don't agree with me. If you're here, you enjoy the content in some way, please hit the like button. Subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Do that as well. We are attempting to get to 100,000 subscribers, and we only want to do that if you enjoy the content. If you don't subscribe, that's fine. Don't want any dissatisfied customers to subscribe. But if you enjoy the content here, please subscribe to the Voice of College Football and tell others that we are here. We've got a big day planned on Saturday as well. There are spring football games that start at noon Eastern time and run through the rest of the afternoon, and we will go live maybe through the entire block, maybe at various times. And, of course, we will focus on the big teams. Georgia's got a spring game on Saturday, Ohio State on Saturday, and a number of other ones coming up on Saturday, including Clemson and others. Probably the biggest spring day is for spring games is this Saturday, April 15th. April 15th. Is there something else significant? April 15th. I don't know. You may want to look that one up. April 15. And then the next two Saturdays, April 22nd and the 29th, spring games on those two particular Saturdays as well, especially the 22nd, Oklahoma, Alabama, and others, Iowa, and others. As soon as we clear all the spring football, and in the midst of it, keep in mind, starting this Saturday, keep your eyes and your ears open, because in addition to what we may witness on the football field is, of course, the first day of the transfer portal. So look out for that. First day of the transfer portal coming up on a Saturday, April 15th, which brings me to the curiosity that 3 Texas players announced their addition to the transfer portal. So they've announced a couple days early. Apparently, they cannot sign papers until April the 15th. But 3 fairly prominent Texas players that weren't necessarily stars, but we covered that with our guy Matthew Miller, and that video is going to be posted here soon, probably early tomorrow on the Texas channel. But 3 Texas players, the first 3 that I'm aware of entering the transfer portal, which opens on Saturday. So we're going to have 3 spring football days, the last 3 Saturdays. Then we're going to have the transfer portal running for the back half of April. And then once we dive into May, then we reset here at the Voice of College Football. And what that means is we deliver power rankings for all the conferences. We deliver our top 10 at each position. Maybe we do that per conference and then do a big national look. Of course, you're still awaiting our program rankings for 2023. Those have yet to be released, but we will get those to you very soon. What we're going to do there is we're going to deliver the 2023 program rankings and then give you about 3 days to sit on those and come up with your best arguments against what I have delivered 1 through 133. And then we'll all get together on a live stream and debate the program rankings for 2023. And then about 4 to 6 weeks after that, we'll do the all-time rankings as well. All right, let's get to all of you. And as you can see, I'm in a bit of a different location right now. We are going to be scrambling here, as we have in a sense for the last 8 or 9 months, but we'll be for another couple months before we get a number of logistics figured out. So bear with us here. We may not have the prettiest setup but we will have the most knowledgeable setup. How about that? And we will have the most engaging conversation with all of you. How about that? Will ND, I love to see it. I get to see not just the Irish green, just not the Notre Dame green, but the YouTube membership green from Will, our latest YouTube member. Just became a YouTube member. Will, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Everybody can check that out and see exactly what we offer on the front page of our channel. So check that out. We may have Edward chiming in from our Florida channel while the timing is near, while the hour is right. Bless this nation and Florida. That must be a Florida declaration of sorts. How about that? The Rod Farva's here. John Diadamo, appreciate you being here, John. John, you can catch him hosting our Michigan show every Wednesday, the Voice of College Football, Maize and Blue, over on the Michigan channel at 5 Eastern time, and also most of the time doing our Big Ten show as well. We've got a Big Ten live show every Monday at 6 Eastern time. Yes, Rob, we are all saddened and certainly did our best to honor Chris. But Rob says, hey, shout out to GBD. I'm sad, just found him late last season, but I am, don't know what all that is. But thank you so much for that, Rob. Yes, 100K. Let's get to 100K. The USC. How is Graham Mertz looking, and what are Gator fans' expectations this year? All right. Well, we had a really good sit down with David Waters from Gators Breakdown just a couple of days ago. Those videos are posted. Actually, they're posted here on the main channel and on the Florida channel in different ways. Great conversation there. So the deal with Graham Mertz is a marginal quarterback until proven otherwise. I think I'm being kind to say marginal by any measurement, by completion percentage, by TD to pick ratio, by the win-loss record actually of the team. And I'm not a big believer in win-loss record being reflective of the quarterback's ability, but considering the talent, the ability, the discipline, the toughness, and the fundamentally sound aspect of Wisconsin football that's been achieved all around him, I would say that Graham Mertz's record, or Wisconsin's team record with Graham Mertz as the starting quarterback, is pretty indicative of how average he has been. So will he suddenly get better at Florida? You know, we're talking about a quarterback that was the starter in 2020, shortened season, albeit 4-5, right, for Wisconsin that season, 4-5, maybe won the bowl. They won the bowl game against Wake Forest. Maybe that lifted them to 5-5, but 9 or 10 games played in that 2020 season after he got off to that remarkable 20 for 21 start with 5 touchdown passes against the Fighting Illini. And then the next season, 2021, a 9-4 season for Wisconsin, carried by Braylon Allen and a tremendous front seven. Same thing here this past season at 7-6. So that's a lot of football for a collegiate quarterback these days. That is a ton of football to have under his belt and to continue to flounder and be marginal. There is a possibility that Florida, Billy Napier and his staff will elevate Graham Mertz. They needed some stability at the position. So I'm not saying that that was an awful pursuit by them, an awful choice to bring in Graham Mertz, because there is value there and there's stability there, and they get something that they can be sure of to a certain degree. But a very similar quarterback to Graham Mertz left Wisconsin a couple of years ago, Alex Hornibrook, who actually was better than Graham Mertz, who actually had better statistics, had a better record, made bigger plays. Alex Hornibrook did at Wisconsin. He left and went to Florida State, and now Florida State was in decline, and certainly it was difficult for Alex Hornibrook to overcome that. He's not that kind of player, was not that kind of player, but Graham Mertz also not that kind of player. Plain and simple. I will continue to monitor the time, and once we get to 7:30, be looking for this Florida live stream. I may need to, because of my different location, look up some passwords and so forth. John says, I'm currently watching a baseball game on the SEC network. So again, it is not on the SEC network on television, on linear. It's on the Digital Plus platform. Good to see Christian here. Good to see Larry here as well. The Rod Farber's here, checking out the SEC baseball. Jason Moose, it's on SEC Network Plus. So if you have, this is how I understand it, because I was able to find the Auburn and the NC State games last weekend. So this is going to be the case with all the ACC games and all the SEC games, minus Virginia. Virginia's on ACC Network. I think because of the tragedy at the end of last season, they wanted to honor Virginia. But otherwise, you've got to have cable, you've got to have ESPN, and then you can go online and you can go to the dot plus, whatever you call it, whatever they call it these days. Rod Farba, Mark, the Browns ditched First Energy and renamed the stadium Cleveland Browns Stadium for now. For now. Exactly, for now, until somebody throws them some Benjamins. For now. First Energy. I may not have been able to get that had I been asked that the name of the stadium was First Energy. I did know it was First Energy, but I don't know that I've thought of that in so long. I probably would have. I know I would have gotten it on a multiple choice, but okay, Cleveland Browns Stadium. It's always been Cleveland Browns Stadium, right? Nobody calls it First Energy Stadium. Jason, what are you talking about? Mark gets sick of seeing me. Jason, you and folks like you make this thing go. This is all about you. The USC says losing Jaden Rashada hurt, but I saw they have a stud quarterback coming in 24 Mertz filling in till then, I suppose. Yes, and shame on me for forgetting who that is, even though we covered it. Yes, Daniel Jack Miller is still at Florida, and he is vying for the job. He's in the quarterback competition. What we can read into this situation now is similar to what we could read into all of these situations across the nation where there are quarterback competitions. Okay, because how often did somebody win a starting quarterback job in the spring? It rarely happened anyway. But now it's going to be even rarer because the coaches don't want to commit to a quarterback because the other guy's going to transfer. So expect this quarterback competition, whether it's legitimate or not, to continue into August. That's probably the next thing we need to hit on, is to go through all the quarterback battles throughout the country. And I got to say that I'm not necessarily prepared to do that for the accuracy that I like to deliver right this second off the top of my head. But that sounds like a video in the next week or two. Again, we're going to make it through September. We're going to make it through April. We're going to make it through April and through all the big spring games. And then there we go. Thank you, the USC. DJ Lagway, of course. Yes, thank you for that. So, and then May, I just need to keep my nose to the grindstone and continue to remember everything that we need to deliver here, because I love diving into this stuff. And quarterback battles, yes, quarterback battles. And I don't know that it matters if we produce that video next week or we wait until spring practice is over, because I will be surprised if there is any major quarterback battle in which the coach lets us know. If there is a quarterback battle now, then why make a decision or make a decision public in the next 2 weeks? If you haven't decided by now, then keep your quarterbacks, keep them guessing, keep them competitive, keep the competition alive, and keep away from the transfer portal. Keep your quarterbacks. So we appreciate everybody being here. I want to let everyone know that while we continue to look for sponsors here at the Voice of College Football, and we welcome any kind of input, reasonable, beneficial input that you would have toward a sponsorship, keep this in mind. Somebody gave me an amazing idea just the other day. We will keep this open to personal sponsorships. So if you would like to personally sponsor a show, whether that's just for a one-time event or otherwise, please hit me up at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. MarkRogersTV at Gmail. It's easy to remember. MarkRogersTV at Gmail. And we will keep it open to, in addition to businesses sponsoring here at the Voice of College Football, we also have that option. We have that option available. Yes, May is the great debate month here at the Voice of College Football. I love this too. So, man, I am going to be one busy man in May and June, even though those are supposed to be the months to take off, because a lot of personal things to work out. And in addition to that, and excuse me, let's get some light on here, a little too much, maybe. I have to back that off a bit. Yes, we will back that off in a minute. But I will make this comment that, while I may be out and about and taking care of business from a personal standpoint during May and June, we also just want to set you up for the season during those 2 months in particular, because really, if we wait till July, once mid-July hits, then it's conference media days, and we are off and running. We are into conference media days for about 2 weeks, and then straight into fall camp. And forget it. It's a runaway train. I can't catch it. I can only hope to contain it at that point. Thank you, Dan Patrick. And so May and June are going to be big months to do power rankings, position breakdowns, position rankings, and the great debate month. So what John is referring to right there is we will field any and all great debates. So let me point you in the right direction, if there is such a thing. Think the 2016 spot at the game, JT Barrett, 4th down. Think that. Think Notre Dame, Miami, 1988. We had a fumble at the goal line. We had a possibly dropped pass in the end zone for a touchdown. We had a controversial 31-30 ending Notre Dame and Miami, which led to the Irish's last national championship. Speaking of Notre Dame football, we have a 1993 vote that went Florida State's way, even though Notre Dame won the game on the field and they had the same record. We have the standard debates between poll champions. 1997, Michigan, Nebraska would be maybe the most talked about and the most recent, because that was 1 year before the BCS. The Nebraska-Michigan debate. We've got the Washington-Miami debate of 1991, and we could take it on through the years. We've got all sorts of BCS debates. We have the pass interference call against Miami, against Ohio State in the 2003 Fiesta Bowl, although we know that that is really unquestioned. All sorts of debates to take on. All sorts of debates. So you let us know. But I've got a list of them. But don't drop them in right now because I will not be able to collect those. But hit us up either in the comments section of the videos. So go to any video and leave your great debate. Or I will also be posting to the community page and gathering up your responses. And we will put together a panel. We will do it a few different ways. Either we will put together a knowledgeable panel of folks. So, for example, our buddy Jordan Bowman, who will be hosting the Clemson show here in a couple hours at 9 p.m. Eastern time, as I should be now looking for the Florida football game. 9 p.m. Eastern time over on the Clemson channel. So join Jordan. But Jordan had a great one. The Clemson-Ohio State playoff game with all the controversial calls, 2019. So we'd put together Clemson people, Ohio State people, or maybe I will just have all the Clemson folks that we know, Jordan Bowman, Pigskin Pete, Tiger Paw Craven, and others. Just bombard me, and I'll take it on. I'll take one for the team. I can take up the Ohio State cause by myself. But regardless, we will put together knowledgeable folks that are passionate and knowledgeable. That's always a good combination. And we will debate. Or we can just throw it out there for all of you. We'll do a little bit of both. Those things are always difficult to schedule, so we will do the best we can to put together some great debates in the month of May. All right. Well, it is 7:30 Eastern, and therefore I should be able to find this. Let my page refresh there. And in the meantime, how do you like the makeshift studio? Something to behold, huh? All right, let's get into Watch ESPN, and we'll keep track of the Florida game if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Now, are they going to ask for a bunch of passwords? I hope not. Just give it to me. Beautiful. We have Billy Napier. During our last Big Ten Live show, which is officially called the Big Ten Live Show, the Big Ten Live Show on Monday. Please join us, 6 p.m. Eastern time. The Florida Gators are on the field. We got the white. We got Jack Miller on one side in the black jersey. So don't hit him. Don't touch him. But we got a copyright strike from our Big Ten Live show last Monday, just a few nights ago. And the only thing that I can figure out is that I must have had a window open, or somebody had a window open during the show, and probably 3 seconds of a song was played. 3 seconds of a song was played. And, there should be some type of reasonable judgment made here on this platform to kind of review these cases. Might be a little bit more reasonable, understanding, okay, things happen. There was no intent. 3-second copyright violation. Should that be such a thing? Yeah. They're telling us on the banner there that Florida won the national championship in 1996, 06, and 08. I would say that they would be sharing those national championships, at least 2 of them. But the quarterback battle is one of the storylines tonight, along with new faces on the coaching staff. Of course, they've got a new defensive coordinator by way of Alabama with Austin Armstrong, who was the Alabama outside linebackers coach for all of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And Florida also has 27 early enrollees. Wow. Wow. Gregory, thank you for mentioning Steve because, Steve had quite the incident this week. So, fortunately, I saw it on Twitter. A number of people pointed it in my direction. Then I texted Steve, not expecting him to respond, of course, but he had just a bit of a scare this week that was rather serious with infection. And we know that he's doing much better. And he said thank you to everyone who prayed for him. And so we thank the good Lord that Steve's doing all right now. And I'm sure he's got a bit of a recovery to deal with right there. So that is much to do with the hiatus. Plus, yes, his day job is so much more important, and all the good work that he's doing right now. All right, Jordan, I'm ready for your code. So whenever you are ready, which does that mean right now? Yes. Excuse me, folks, for just a second. Old Billy Napier is prancing the sideline, boy. He's got a tough deal for this season. It is going to be difficult for him to navigate this schedule, I think. I'm not very optimistic about this Florida football situation. And maybe I'm leaning too much on the quarterback situation and just, Graham Mertz, who I have somewhat, and they've kicked off in Gainesville. I have somewhat defended, not that he's great by any stretch, but I have somewhat defended. Looks like there's not going to be any tackling. Maybe that's just for the kickoff. They did a kickoff. Trevor Etienne brought it back. And so we got Graham Mertz getting ready to come out onto the field. Ricky Pearsall is back, the Arizona State wide receiver transfer. So again, I could speak all night about Steve Dace and what a remarkable job that he's doing with what he does during the day. But we are glad that he is back at him and ready to roll. And it's going to be a bit of a difficult and it has been a difficult time for him, but in terms of recovery, Graham Mertz is back to pass. And Graham Mertz completed a little, that's going to be a first down and more. Do we have a touchdown here, or what are we doing here? Are we playing tap football? What are we doing? Graham Mertz stepped up in the pocket, tossed it to the sideline, completed the ball, and nobody tackled the wide receiver. He ran all the way to the end zone, but they are not counting it. So either Mertz was touched for a sack or they're not tackling. I don't know which it is. Yeah, he might have been touched. I think Mertz was sacked. Okay. All right. Mertz again hits his guy on the outside, picks up a few. All right. Somebody's asking for the link, so we will get it to you. And again, I know it's been my aim for years at this point, but it's been nearly impossible. It has been impossible to fulfill my goal of building out a very nice set. But hopefully we're headed home, down the home stretch of getting somewhere permanently where we can do that at some point. Graham Mertz looks like he's going to get sacked again. No, he escaped the pocket. No, I guess he was down. This is not fun to watch, because so on this particular drive, Graham Mertz was sacked twice. Would he have been sacked? Now, that time he would not have been sacked. If this were a real game, he would not have been sacked. He was bumped into by a defender who was engaged by a blocker who would have had no chance of sacking him otherwise. The other time, the guy hit him on the shoulder. So it's a bit rough here. But hey, it's guys that are wearing uniforms, like Jerry Seinfeld said at one point, rooting for laundry. There are guys wearing laundry that we are accustomed to seeing, that we want to see, that we remember seeing for years, and we are attached to. Jack Miller played in the Vegas Bowl, hit on 13 of 22 passes for 180 yards. And of course, Florida was dismal because they only scored 3 points. Gregory found the spring game on YouTube. So search Florida spring game and you'll probably be able to come up with it. Now, that was some awful camera work on that play downfield. Jason, we have dropped the link in the chat. Sunbelt Billy. That's quite the nickname. Tim's here. Tim, appreciate you being here. We are checking on the Florida spring game, although I don't know how many people can watch it. I've got it up in front of me with Jack Miller on the field, second possession of the game. Running a little read option play off to the right side. We're going to have to figure out our schedule for... Oh, Jason, I thought you meant the link to join the show. No, I don't know what link it is. I'm watching the game on the SEC network. You guys all have to join Tim and Rick on Sunday nights. So that's at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific for the Trojan Conquest live show on the USC channel. And then Matt Zemek and I get together for USC Football Talk on our Trojans live show Monday night at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. So double live shows on the USC channel. We used to have double live shows on the Miami channel until this week. We had to pay a due to the Wholesome One. Hopefully most of you caught that. That was sad, but a good time with the Wholesome One as he pursues his career. Jack Miller with a 3rd and 3. Back to pass, delivers across the middle. That ball is knocked out of the hands of the receiver, and the wide shot of the field is so wide you can't even tell what just happened. Okay, now we get an ISO. And really, it was not dropped, but it was just a good play. It was thrown a little late. It was thrown well, but it was thrown late, and the defender was able to break up the pass. 4th and 3. Go for it. There you go. Just go for it. Jack Miller going to get sacked. There you go. Would he have gotten sacked in a real game? Probably not. Man, if nobody's going to call me, I should probably work on my program rankings. I could work on my program rankings while we're live, make it a little workshop session, and then I'd be ready to knock out that video tonight. We could do that. I typically am not into, and Mug Root Beer should be sponsoring now, but I'm not a carbonated beverage drinker, but I just had some pizza, so kind of goes along with it. Do any of you find it interesting trying to determine who are on different sitcoms that have appeared on other sitcoms? You know, like when you see somebody on Gilligan's Island in 1965, and then you see them show up on Happy Days in 1977. Anybody? This is a pastime of mine. So we have yet to complete, while we are in commercial break, we have yet to complete the program rankings, but I just better get this done. So I don't want to hear any comments about my rankings because they are not completed. So you're probably saying, Mark, don't even show them, you knucklehead. And you know what? You might be right. But for right now, this is what we've got. Yes, I will have to work on these from March. Did we get to these things? Hot seat rankings. Yeah, we did those. ACC Pac 12 merge. I did not do that. What an ACC Pac 12 merge may look like, because I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen, but it's fun to throw out there maybe. Under the radar games, check. Did that. All-time program rankings, current program rankings. Got to get those. Jack Miller's in the shotgun. Or that might be Graham Mertz. Handoff on the left side, about a 5-yard gain. All-time program rankings, current program rankings, this year's TCU. This year's TCU is this year's TCU North Carolina. Now, you could take that to the extreme to be very precise to say we need a 5-7 team. They've got to be 5-7 to be the next TCU. Or we could just say or just a team that came out of nowhere to get to the college football playoff. So, yeah, this year's TCU, I'm looking at North Carolina. I'm looking at Wisconsin. I'm looking at Texas A&M. Those are the best I can come up with. Now, best candidate to make the playoff that has yet to make a playoff. There's Graham Mertz in the Wisconsin jersey. There he is, tearing it up against Illinois in the empty stadium. Graham Mertz on a 4th and 7 right now. But if I had to take a team that would reach the college football playoff for the first time, I'm going Penn State. And then I'm going Texas. And I might go Texas before Penn State. But those are my top two. And then probably USC. So Graham Mertz is 19-13 as a starter. He's thrown 38 touchdowns, 26 picks. Little cut to the outside, bouncing that thing to the left sideline. Who was that? Who was that? So our man Jobo was saying, well, if Trevor gets sick of Billy, I know a place that would welcome him with open arms, that he could continue the proud Etienne legacy. Yeah, he can play. He can play. Although that's not necessarily the position you need him. But the Rod Farva, pop or soda? Pop. The Sterling Florida spring game. 6:46 left in the first quarter. Jack Miller's back at it. Okay, so we don't have too many people here watching. Can you guys watch? Can you guys see the Florida spring game? Like, how many people are watching the Florida spring game? It seems like about 4. It looks like a tremendous time right now to do what? It looks like a tremendous time since we're not getting any calls in. Larry's not watching the game. So we were going to do a call-in show here since we've got no calls coming in. That we've got our buddy Jordan Bowman with the Clemson Show coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we also have me ready to rip through some content to deliver that. So no reason to continue here. All right. Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for showing up. I know this was a late ad sometime 4 or 5 hours ago. So you see all that content on the screen? We're going to get at that. We are going to go after that on the screen right there. And we're going to get through that. Join us where I believe we'll have a better crowd on Thursday and on Friday night. At the time, we had one of our best crowds and one of our best showings ever. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. After the Miami spring game, we had about, oh my goodness, we had about 12 or 1,300 people online after the Miami spring game. So we are hoping for something similar to that when we do the Miami spring game tomorrow night at 7 Eastern. All right, folks. All right. Appreciate you being here. Calls coming in, going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right. So on Friday, we've got West Virginia Live. Joey and I get together. Who knows who will dig up as a guest. West Virginia Live at 6 Eastern. And then we will do the Miami spring game. Yes, we've thrown the link in there about 50 times, Connor. So unfortunately, we will be back at it on Friday. Appreciate you all being here at the Voice of College Football. Get us to 100,000 subs, and we will see you on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time right here. And then again, I'll be dropping videos all over the place, as you know I will. We'll see you.